define results.
One of the cool things about Peter is something I really believe in that ties to results is you need to be really clear on what you value before you set your goals of whatever the result you want. And so a lot of people set goals of the result they want and they don't really dissect with intention the detail of their values. And so I would answer your question, Joe, by saying it starts with what you and I preach. Why we like each other so much is because we believe grounded, any kind of result you want needs to start with the ground of what you value. And then you add on top of that what Peter said when he asked the question to Dan about the fun. If the result you want is a life full of excitement and fun and influence, well, is that what you really value? Like I walk in your place here and I'm like, who wouldn't want to be Joe? The Harvard study I just came across in the last month or so, a 75-year study on why people are the happiest. It's because of relationships. And you look at this place, this is like the coolest people in the world and you got relationships with them.
Yeah, it's a good gig.
My long answer on that one is I think everybody should think about results tied to what they value.
Pacific Region Entrepreneur of the Year Award for his outstanding commitment to values, ethics, entrepreneurship, and quality of life. Royal Roads University was pleased to present Peter Thomas with an honorary doctorate of law degree. But I think it's cooler that he used to own Century 21 in the entire country of Canada, or he built the Four Seasons Hotel in North Scottsdale and numerous other projects, Dogtopia, things like that. So Peter recently introduced me to a guy I had been hearing Peter talk about for as long as I've known Peter, including give me some of his books and things like that. And just by a series of events, someone brought up this person, his name's Tony Jeary, and said how they have learned so much from Tony about his high leverage activities, HLAs, and different methodologies in producing results. And so I sent it to Peter, and Peter's like, I got to introduce you guys. Then we hopped on a call. We did a Zoom call. I think we spent like a couple hours on Zoom, and it was awesome. And this was just a few weeks ago. And I was like, if you can make it out here, I would love to do an interview because I think all of my 100K members would get so much value out of hearing from Tony. So here's who he is. Tony Jeary, known as the Results Guide, has spent over 3 decades helping top leaders and organizations achieve breakthrough success. He's coached presidents and CEOs of Walmart, Ford, Shell, Samsung, New York Life, and more. And always with the same mission, to deliver results faster, like a professional athlete approaching competition. Tony goes all in with the people and companies he partners with, focus on what drives the highest return on effort. A prolific author of over 100 books, Tony distills his lifetime of best practices into actionable tools housed at his private results center near Dallas. His work emphasizes strategy, clarity, and acceleration, principles captured in 2 of his most important books, Strategic Acceleration and Business Ground Rules, which, by the way, we're going to have copies for all of you. Both those books, we have copies, co-authored with his close friend and partner, Peter Thomas. Today, Tony continues to partner with high achievers who want to supercharge their vision and turn them into reality even faster. So please help me welcome both Tony Jeary and Peter H. Thomas to the stage.
Guys, this is cool, man.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to meet Joe for a long time. Where should we go?
I'll sit over here, and then why don't you go here, and we'll put Peter over here. What's up? What's up, sir? Give me a big hug. All right, thank you. All right, so this is going to be fun. We're also going to take some time. I've got some initial questions, but if any of you have any questions, I want to be able to have this be a conversation with all of us, not just me. So,
guys, this is cool, isn't it? Yeah. I've been wanting to meet Joe for so long. Peter makes a connection. I'm sitting here with all you guys. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's funny. When we were talking on the phone, I'd mentioned Dan, and you're like, I got all of Dan's books and everything. I was like, this is great. He's going to be here.
I had 2 goals, to meet Dan and meet Joe today, right?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to meet Dan for a long time. like of any person, to go out and buy everybody's book. One day, about 7 years ago, Dan, I had my team go buy every one of your books. And I already owned like 7 or 10 of them. I'm like, buy them all. I think at that time, there's like 39 of them. They're like, you want them all? I'm like, I want them all. Anyway, glad to be here.
So let me ask you, because both of you are obviously very much into, help. You talk, and we'll talk about this too, not just coaches and getting support on business, but also professionally, having a lot of things done in different areas of your life. So how much time do you spend reading and studying? And I mean, this is obviously a lifetime habit for both of you. So what's your
You mean regarding your health side of your
No,
life?
just in general. Like, how how many books, do you still read a lot of books?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's why you just had a vision problem, I think. It's finally...
You know what, I lately, I've read a lot of books before. Now if anybody asks me if I want to read a book, I throw it into ChatGPT and I ask it to give me a précis of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read the précis, and a lot of times I don't read the book then, because you really...
You guys doing that now?
Yeah, I do that with some.
And the other one is to go to YouTube. If you like the vision,
Yeah.
just like you get a book, go read this book, you put the book down, go to YouTube with it, and then look at the interviews. And sometimes it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, an hour. You can read anything you want. So click the minute one on. You get the gist if you like the book or not. But that's a 10-minute exercise.
You know what I think, though, is like Dave Kekich is the one that got me to, is that learning can be painfully slow. And when you sit and marinate with a book versus just watching clips, there's a certain level of integration, I think, that happens
For sure.
differently.
Hey, let me tell you, I'd like to tell everybody this this was a mistake I made. And I wanted to really, this is one of the things I wanted to cover today. And I'm so happy the first question, because I didn't know what you were going to ask, is about 2 or 3 years ago, I caught myself bragging about the number of books that I read. Has anybody ever done that?
Yeah. It's like
And then I'm like, that's stupid, because that's the feature. Yeah. The benefit is the epiphanies you get out of the book. So now what I'm into, like you, is how do I extract the epiphanies from an author that's taken the time to put in writing their distinctions. And so now I collect epiphanies. Is that a cool idea, right? So I was like going, golly, don't, it's not after the number of titles, it's all the epiphanies you can grab. Anyway.
Yeah, well here's the thing, like I will often display chessboards in books because people think I'm smart if I do, because I'd rarely play chess, but I've read a lot of books, but no, there's something, this is a true story. Like years ago, I was in the 12-step bookstore because I've been, I have an addiction recovery foundation, as you know. And I went in there and I asked this, I walked in and she's like, can I help you with anything? I go, yeah, do you have any books on people that are addicted to buying books? And I said it purely as a joke. And she's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, we do. And she starts,
no way.
And I just start mindlessly following this woman. And we go to the back and I swear I wish I had this on video back then, but this was like probably 20 years ago. And she goes to a back bookshelf on the bottom, and she pulls out a book called like Biblioholism, I think it was called. and it's like, in the back cover says, if you have a condition of buying, collecting, consuming large quantity of books, you have a problem that thousands suffer from, and you can solve this problem. All you need is one more book. And you can go look this book up on Amazon. It's a real book on people that there's this whole consumption of self-help.
How about anybody a bookaholic?
Yeah. So,
probably everybody in here, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
there's a book on it.
Definitely. So, but here's the thing with ChatGPT, and like you were saying, now there's this new way of consumption. I mean, Evan Carmichael, do you have that slide? Just real quick, because this even kind of ties in with what we're talking about. Show that slide that Evan sent me today. Of how people are consuming podcasts and videos on YouTube. And if not, we can pop it up in a minute. But yeah, so there's, I think it's 39% of people now are consuming their podcasts and stuff. YouTube is the most viewed. But the point is, things are changing quite a bit. So you have this thing called the Results Center. Let's start with, which I think is really cool. Explain this concept, because you've taken not just knowledge, but you've created a environment for learning and for consulting and for getting people to think, which, there's a slide real quick, we'll show that. So this basically says, podcast listeners now tune into YouTube more than any other platform. Which of the following places do you use the most to access podcasts you listen to? 32% are different places. 8% is Apple.
39 YouTube.
Yeah, 21% Spotify and 39% YouTube. So yeah, that's why Evan likes YouTube. It's a bigger platform. And so the thing is, Results Center, yeah.
Years ago, I started collecting best practices. And so I would go in and I'd consult with the company and I'd pick up the best practice and I'd save it and I'd save it and I'd save it. And so for about 40 years now, I've been accumulating best practices on how to grow companies. So I worked out in my backyard for 20 years, Joe, to raise my kids. And my wife told me that my business was getting bigger again. So I needed to move out of the house. I had a big estate. to routine. So I built a condo, downsides, and then I built the results center.
Okay.
And I thought being north of Dallas and north of the DFW airport, easy to get to, that'd be a great place.
Yeah.
So what I built was I built a building that houses my 40 years of best practices, and we fly cool people in every day. Mm-hmm. And I felt like what was better for me, last year I hit 5 million miles on American, and that was just American, not counting private travel. And I was like, what would be better for me is if I could be so excited and have so much value that people would want to come to me versus me getting on a plane and fly some more. So I built the Results Center. So I hope one day all of you guys come visit the Results Center. If you're ever in Dallas, just come on by.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have a van that picks people up.
You got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos. I need to see it in person. Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please. It's cool, right, Peter?
Oh yeah, I had the experience with, of all the coaches in my whole life I've ever had, I picked Tony as my life coach, and I've said it online that he's the coach for the rest of my life, because he got away. Tony has an organizational pattern that he uses, and I know when we first went there, I met Tony, and knew him quite a bit. He'll tell you a story, but going through the process, a company, if you right now can't figure where there is, if you're here and you're trying to figure out where there could be, and you've got a team, and I'm saying here is probably the fifth here you've had maybe. You're just solid, you're well financed, you got good money, but you don't quite know where there is yet. Tony be a great guy to source out how to find your there.
Can I tell the story about Peter, how I met?
Yeah.
So my coach had the same coach for 38 years. Imagine having the same guy, Joe, for 38 years. I just launched a book with him. It came out 2 weeks ago called Distinctions of Excellence. And this guy says, there's a guy out there that has more goals than you do. And this is about 18 years ago. And at the time I had 50 pages of goals. And he's like, no, this guy has more goals than you do. And I'm like, really? And he goes, I can get you a copy. I get a copy of a copy. And sure enough, I don't even really know Peter. I think I met him one time in a passing. And so Joe, I get this set of goals, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy has more goals than me. And then his values were aligned to my values, so I thought, I'll just take some of his goals and put them to mine, because he already, all the places to travel, he already figured it out. I mean, he's older than me, like he's smart. I mean, I've been following the guy, and so I'm like, for 4 years, I'm living his goals, and then I get a text, his email, Saturday morning, 4 years later, it says, Tony, I know you don't really know me, but that book you have on clarity, focus, and execution, that book here, the red one, he goes, I want to buy 100 of those for my friends. You remember sending that? He goes, man, that's marvelous. And I'm like reading it.
I love the stuff he's doing, when I'm reading it.
And then he says, I know I've built a few billion-dollar companies in my life. I'd like to build a billion-dollar company with you. And I'm reading this, right? And he goes, and by the way, I know you've written quite a few books. I've only written a couple. I'd like to write a book with you. If you're interested, call me. And I'm like shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like I'm living this guy's goals for like 4 years. I'm going to meet the guy. So I get on the phone with him at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 5 minutes later, he's got a read on the line, and we talk for 3.5 hours. And this is the truth. Within 2 weeks, I'm on his yacht in Vancouver. I take my ghostwriter, and we start writing this book that we're going to give to everybody. That's the story how we met.
Yeah.
This guy is so amazing.
That is a great book. I've actually read the entire thing, and what's funny is, as talking about ChatGPT, I did it on my Kindle. So I wrote this, I read this whole thing on my Kindle. Then there's the annotations. And what's funny is this morning, I was like going, so I had all these questions prepared for you, but I had not yet taken the time to go through the annotations. So I took,
thanks for
and
doing
then
that.
I take all the annotations. I can show you how it is. Like I was like going, I didn't even realize to do this until this morning. So Dre Redfern is driving my Tesla while I'm sitting in Cherie's in the back, and I'm going through all of the annotations of notes I had made, and then I have ChatGPT take all the notes, what are the themes, how to organize them, which quotes I have, and then I went through the whole thing. I was like, make me a list of the 10 best questions. And already had.
I did the same thing with your credo, right?
Yes, the Kegler's credos. Yeah,
like that's so good. That's so good.
Right. So and that's what I came up with, the things like based on what I've read. But I was like, because I have a ton of books that I've read in Kindle, but I've never yet taken the annotations, uploaded them, and put them through ChatGPT and organized.
Are you guys doing that now? Where you're sorting and sorting and sorting with chat? How many are building your own twin, your own AI twin? And then are you doing the rules in the chat? Do you guys know about that? Where you can keep building the rules for your own chat? How many are doing that? And then how about this one? When you think of another rule for just one ask, you can ask your chat to incorporate that rule ongoing. Are y'all doing that? So you can just keep building your own rules in your own chat, and you save yourself a lot of time and prompting. Just an idea if you're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just discovering this stuff like everybody. I'm like, right? Why read a book when you get the summary? I'm like sitting there going, Dan's new book, I want the summary, right? What's all the good stuff, you know?
Yeah. So out of all the different themes I had, so I broke down, like, out of all the stuff in here, what I want to talk to you guys, because there's so much. Like, I got to show everyone this, and then I want you to talk about, like, just from where's the big results book? Okay, I've got all of his books over here. Check this out. It's like there's so much stuff.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah, I got all of Tony's stuff. And of course, I've not read all these yet because and when I say yet, I'm not saying I'm going to read them all, but
I can send you the summary.
Yeah, no. So there's always the little ones, and then you've got, the results center. This is his, little results center thing. So this is about that, and then the different books, results faster and vibe. What's this? Energy equals results faster. Words of wisdom, the Tony Jeary story. But this one right here. First off, this is like the coolest book. It's got
Dan, this is the one I brought for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there.
Right, and it's got this little. So explain this. How much does it cost to do these
Sometimes
things?
I do books short,
Yeah.
and this took me about a year.
Yeah,
and
it's
this
really
is
cool.
the summary of my first 30 years of publishing. That page right there.
Yep.
So I wrote a book with my daughters when they were both 8.
Yeah.
Here, show them. And I asked my daughter's a photographer, if she would do the photography for my books, and my other daughter is a graphic artist, and she'd do the branding. So I built that as a family legacy, and then I just give it. You got one, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. I've actually gone through this. It's. I'll leave this out so people can check it out. So define results. Getting results. I mean, that's a word that everyone throws around, but what's that mean to you?
Paul J. Myers. Anybody a study or Paul J. Myers? Remember him?
Yeah.
Influenced my life a lot in regards to that question, Joe. And so did Earl Nightingale. Anybody Earl Nightingale fan? The Strangest Secret, You Become What You Think About. I'm going to expand the answer to tie Peter together to make sense on why I think we're sitting here. One of the cool things about Peter is something I really believe in that ties to results is you need to be really clear on what you value before you set your goals of whatever the result you want. And so a lot of people set goals of the result they want, and they don't really dissect with intention the detail of their values. And so I would answer your question, Joe, by saying it starts with what you and I preach. Try we like each other so much is because we believe grounded, any kind of result you want needs to start with the ground of what you value. And then you add on top of that what Peter said when he asked the question to Dan about the fun. If the result you want is a life full of excitement and fun and influence, well, is that what you really value? And is that the result you want in life? So is your result you want a feature of selling your business and cashing once or two or three, or how many times have you done it? 6 or 10?
Several exits, yeah.
Yeah, is that, or is the goal to have a life that's incredible? Like I walk in your place here and I'm like, who wouldn't want to be Joe? The Harvard study I just came across in the last month or so, 20-year study, $20 million study, 75-year study on why people are the happiest. It's because of relationships. And you look at this place, this is like the coolest people in the world, and you got relationships with them.
Yeah, it's a good gig.
My long answer on that one is I think everybody should think about results tied to what they value.
Well, let me ask you about it, because we had the conversation prior to you guys coming up where Jeff Pavone over here was talking about golf when Dan was talking about ambition. And there's a lot of contradictions that I see with people that say they value health, but the way they live their life is congruent with that. And they seem to be living someone else's values. And in the Kekich credos I sent over to you, where it says he has a credo that's like, lasting happiness does not come from consuming values, but producing values, and producing more than you consume is the only justification for existence. And the way I interpret that is people read all these books and they try to adopt someone else's value system, but they don't integrate it into their own life. And so they pretend, or at least try to act as if or whatever, that there's someone else's system, but it doesn't really quite work for them. And I really think it's into the integration. I think, integrating anything into your,
Do you know about his life manual?
The
Life
one,
Pilot?
Yeah,
Life
Would
Pilot?
you tell him,
Yeah.
tell him about that,
Yeah.
tied to that comment, please.
Sure. You all know I lost my son in the year 2000, and Todd, he took his own life, and he aged 35. And he was a good kid. He was a good kid. He knew what he wanted in life, and did a lot of traveling. And he made the decision that he was done. He was finished. And it was the toughest thing I'd come up with so far in my life, a hurdle to figure it out. And in that process, when I lost Todd, I was trying to think of a way to celebrate his life rather than mourn and grieve it all the time. How can I celebrate his life? And he lived a real values-based life, and he was full of love. He loved everybody. There was not a bad person on the earth as far as Todd was concerned. So what came out of that process of thinking was I developed a program called Life Pilot. And what Life Pilot was a program to teach you, first of all, how to recognize your values. What are your values? What are you about? And I'd ask each one of you now, you have a piece of paper, just put it down, and not now, but anytime you want, write down your values. Because that's what do you stand for. Now, my values, like today, are health, freedom, happiness, integrity, and I added legacy. I added legacy about a year ago. So health, freedom, happiness, and integrity, and legacy. But yours can be relationships. There's probably 50 or 60 values you can have. So when I do something, health, freedom, happiness, integrity, like I wouldn't do, like if, let's say Joe says, Joe, we're having a party tonight, and please come, Peter, because we're going to do a bunch of heroin, and we're going to have the best time in the world, I'd say,
It would be a party.
Joe, I'd love to come. I'd absolutely love to come. I probably won't take any heroin, but I'd like to be with you. And I wait no moral obligation what you do, but I know that this temple is not going to have anything in it today that's going to be derogative or hurt it from being healthy.
What if it was mushrooms? Would
Oh,
that change
mushrooms.
it?
Yeah. And then freedom. Yeah, one of my values is freedom, and that means to be free and do what every darn well want to do. That's why I work hard to make the money that I want to earn, the gift of being free. So I would do nothing to impair that.
Yeah.
Because I don't. So you. Go ahead.
No, and I'll tell it, like I've spent enough time with you now, I've been on your boat with you, we've gone and hunt. Yeah, I mean, like you actually live those values. You even have those cards you gave me with all your values on them.
Yeah. So everything I do, so that's what I try with that program. So I taught this 4-hour program to YPO, and I put a number of 25 grand on it, and I went all over the world, and I gave that money to charity, and it sort of got me back centered because I've been thinking, Todd's my chairman. And so Todd was my son's name. And so Todd's my chairman, and he's in charge of all that whole values and all that thing.
Well, I'll tell you, like one of the ways me and you connected was when I was on a 1-year sabbatical with you, and I met Rita first, right, at that party. Yeah. And we're at this event, and it's not a business event. It's just like a freaking grand opening for this place where you had your private planes. Yeah.
Plane,
And I started talking to Rita, and she started.
Is this Corey's place? Yeah.
Yeah. And we started talking about addiction. I have an addiction recovery foundation. And then I totally hit it off with Rita. She's like, you got to meet my husband, Peter. So then me and you started talking, and I'm like, I'm on sabbatical right now. I don't need anything. I don't want to talk about business. I mean, you got together. We didn't talk about business. And that's how we became friends first. And then and that was, probably, I don't know, 4 months or 6 months, I think it was, before I ended my sabbatical. And then after that, it's...
I was telling Daryl a little while ago, I've never ever worked for money. I never wanted to be richer and stuff like that. But I'm really driven. I love toys. And I started off with a bicycle, like when I was picking blueberries as a kid in home. And I picked enough berries to buy a bicycle. And then I quit picking berries. I had my bicycle, And then I realized I wanted different clothes than my mom wanted to buy me. So I started picking more berries again. Yeah. So all the way through school, I was independent financially.
Yeah, his life's a little interesting because he's now on his 3rd yacht. at the same time. So he has to keep making that money. I'm just kidding.
But what I feel with, like, life is for having fun and being happy and loving and caring and giving back to the community. Like, that's what life is.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can get yourself involved in it, there's nothing more exciting. Like, nothing more.
I think you have like such a young, youthful energy in this
It's
like
unbelievable, isn't
giddy
it?
enthusiam that you have, which I think is really
Don't you like hanging around with him?
Oh yeah, no, he's fun. I mean, he really is. Like, yeah, Peter's a goofball too. Like, I mean, we were also hiking once. Like, we were hiking up what trail was it over by 32nd and Camelback, whatever. Yeah, and some freaking guy bumps into him, but pretty hard. And Peter's like literally, like, you know, starts yelling at the dude as he's running. But he's like, this guy's an asshole. I've seen him like run into people. And then Peter finally had enough. And I'm like going, Jesus Christ, I hope he doesn't get in a fist fight.
You know, Dan had mentioned about you can reverse your age. One of the things about Peter is, I think there's 3 types of ages that I talk about. I've written 3 books on health, four books on health. There's the chronological age, which is your birthdays, right? Everybody's got that one. Do you agree? Chronological age. Then you got your biological age, and there's biomarkers like telomeres that you can judge on your biological age. And then there's the mental age. Like, this dude's like he plays. Like, he's a teenager.
You know, we're all the different kinds of people. Like, some of us early morning people, some of mid morning people. We're all different kinds of people. When you understand what you are, what people you are, well, then you feed those things. Like, if you're the noon person, noon is when your highest peak of the day is noon. Then work with that. Like, don't try and make yourself a morning person. Be the noon person. I always like to feel like, you know, in life, it's like God, every little baby that's born, God comes out the little baby, just here's a deck of cards. And so that baby's got, one of us got a deck of cards. We got aces, and we're dealt a hand. And that hand is what you've got. And let's say it's 8 cards in your hand. Well, you might have an ace, a deuce. You got to play what you've got. And, you know, there's so much I don't have, but I play I play my aces all the time. Like, if I'm going into negotiation with what have you, like, I'm a nice guy, and I'm goal-oriented, and I'm honest, and I'm communicative. So I let the guy that I'm buying something know all that. Look, I'm here I really do love your property. I really do want to buy your property. I hope that we can come to an arrangement. I'm prepared today to make a non-refundable offer on your property. You know, is that what you're looking for? Yeah, that's what I wanted. Well, let's start talking. State my goal and work towards that goal. But be transparent. Be you. Like, I think I probably got I think I have an ace. My communication is probably an ace, but my math is probably an 8. You know, my physical ability is probably a 8 or 9.
How many of you play to your strengths?
But play.
Is that something you should double down on? So many people like work on their weaknesses and go, I want to keep.
Yeah.
But man, what he's saying, they're playing to the strengths, right? I thought that was an aha for me. I don't know, Joe, a few years ago, and I was like, wow. When I'm coaching people, I'm like coaching them all up, and I'm like going, hey, you're so good at this. Why don't I double down on that?
And encouraging, you know, with people, you could. Like, I said one time that I really believe that everybody is a genius. Every single person in this room is a genius. You guys might have heard me say this before, but everybody's a genius. It's that. Well, but you don't all act like you're geniuses sometimes. You act like you're kind of stupid sometimes. So all of us. So, well, why? If we're geniuses, why do that? Well, what's wrong with that? You are geniuses, but many people are not aware of it. Like, they just can't buy the fact that they're a genius. You know, we're all like, you know, we're born, and we have this amazing body, brain. We have all this stuff. Like a car. When the Ferrari comes out of the factory, it's got a key sitting there. What are the chances that car will start? And what are the chances that car will probably go 200 miles an hour? Because it's built for that. It's built to do that. Well, we're specially built by God. We'll use God. But here we are with these incredibly gifts. Like, what the people who are leading this country, the top people in the country, what have they got that you don't have? Like, what couldn't, well, you just saw with the recent political appointments, they can take somebody from this field here and put them into there. You know, people are so amazingly capable of doing things. The thing that holds us back is collectively we don't believe in ourselves. Like, collectively we don't believe enough in ourselves.
Yeah, I took a note when Dan was talking earlier also. Did you guys catch that about how When you get something done, your confidence goes up. Anybody else write that note down? I thought that was a good one. I'm like epiphanies, right?
Well, shout out to Dan. Yesterday, when we were in the beginning, we were asking what we all caught out of yesterday. What the thing I got out of yesterday, and I do it all the darn time. It makes me mad that I had to learn it from Dan, because I do it all the time myself, and I usually go 10 years or 15 years ahead. I love 3. I love 3 years. That's just, it's not too far. 5, 10 is getting a bit too far, but 3 years is not far from now. I mean, every single one of us should shut our eyes for 10 minutes and say, okay, what do I look like 3 years from now? Physically, what am I wearing? Where am I? Am I married? Am I single? What's my career? And build that model of what you want, because that's what you'll be then.
Tied to your values.
Yeah.
Tied to your values.
Tied to your values.
Hey, can I bring one up that you may not have on your list? Peter, would you tell everybody about your imaginary board of directors? And then I want to add what I've done to it. So you've got your imaginary board of directors.
Yeah.
You may not have heard of this idea, or maybe you have. Well, I just love this, of Peter's idea.
Well, in mentorship.
Do you know about it?
A little bit, yeah.
Many years ago, like when I was about maybe 30, 40. I didn't go to university, so I have high school, but not university. Got out of the Army, and I got this company and all these salesmen, and things are going like crazy. And I'm sitting there. I have that. What do I call that thing when you don't believe in yourself? You wonder how did I ever get here? Am I a fraud?
Oh, like imposter syndrome?
Yeah. I'm an imposter. How could I build all this? I don't know enough. I don't know anything. And I'm saying to myself, I need some mentors. Everybody can be a mentor. All I know is guys who play pool with, guys I was in the Army with. I don't have anybody I can say, what can I look up to? Well, I come home this night, and for some reason, Donna had bought me this book on Karsh. And Karsh is a photographer in Canada. It was one of the most famous photographers in the world. You all have seen his pictures. He took Muhammad Ali, and many pictures of the one where he's standing over Sonny Liston. Mm-hmm. That picture was Karsh. And a picture of Churchill, who was frowning like this, that was Karsh. So this book had all these pictures of these amazing people in it. And as I was thumbing through it, I thought, well, you know what? Why couldn't these guys be my mentors? Why couldn't I? I'm thinking to myself, I wish I could have someone like that as a mentor. And there was Gandhi, and there was President Kennedy, and Hemingway, the artist, and Martin Luther King. And they're the ones I just happened to pick. You got the whole universe to pick from. You can pick. But I read almost every book ever written about those guys back then. I read them until I felt like you'd know how they would react. And then when I had a problem or something, it was kind of big, I would say, well, I wonder what, Kennedy was my business guy. He was kind of my businessman for some reason. And I said, well, what would John F. Kennedy do here? And if he won't do it, I won't do it. Like, some say, Peter, you got to go to this meeting. We have to go to this meeting. I'd say, would Kennedy go to that meeting? He wouldn't go? No. I wouldn't go either.
I love this idea. And so what I've been playing with, Peter, lately is having chat and a variety of different AI apps help me take people that are either dead or I don't know them closely and have them be my mentors. And in fact, it all came from his idea. Is anybody else doing that now? Like where
I do a little bit for, well, I'll ask,
like what would Covey do with his 7 habits and how he'd apply to it?
Well, you got to be a little bit, I don't use the word crazy, but open-minded to get some of the stuff. Do you believe that when people die, they leave their knowledge here, or do they take it with them? Somebody says, take it.
It depends if they left it here or not in the form of books or any other learning. But
I think they pass it through genetics.
Okay. Well, I think they leave it here.
So you're talking like a frequency woo-woo way, or what do you mean?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think. Yeah. But I think that all knowledge ever invented is still here. And I can still have access to it. I think that. But I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
That's why you talk to people. That's why you keep learning.
Well, the Einstein thing about how imagination is more important than intelligence. I mean, I think you're just using imagination here,
yes.
Which I think is important.
Really important.
Yeah.
To get, yeah. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I just love the idea of taking chat and taking your idea and pushing our own self to be able to tap into all the knowledge that's here.
Well, so oil goes through a pipeline. Like if you want to ship oil to England, you go through a pipeline. So let's pretend for a minute there's a pipeline going through this room right now. It comes out, goes in this, there's a big pipeline right at the top of the room.
Imagination.
And we know that in that pipeline is every bit of knowledge you ever get. You want to, actually like ChatGTP is the pipeline. Just thinking about it now. We're inventing it. But all you need to do is tap into it. If you can tap into it, then you can pick out whatever you want, And so that access to that pipeline is available. The pipeline is there if you want it to be there. You can make it there. But so where's the source? Well, the source is every one of us are the sources to every one of us are a source to somebody else. Yeah. Because you always, that's why you hear people like when I go to a new town, if I went to Dallas to see Tony, on my way with the driver, I'd say, well, how's the economy? What's going good? Are you busy today? How's the business in Dallas? Everybody helps fill in your needs of your knowledge. But you have to be, I'll just finish right, but you have to be open to the universe because you don't know where your next lesson's going to come
Think
from.
about what's happening right here. All the brilliant minds are sitting in this room, right?
Yeah, you don't know where that's going to come from. You don't know, like when Dan's word about that one word that Dan said, about 3 years instead of 20 years. And you got to listen for these little pops of knowledge, like Robin, you picked up, just one little thing. You said, boy, that really sparked me. In a room like this, when Evan pops his hand up and says something, it's really important to listen because these drops of gold, you can talk for 2 hours sometimes and not hear nothing. Then
How many of you are going to take your notes from these 2 days and drop it into your AI twin and tell you what you should most pull from it?
Good idea.
One person?
I do stuff like
That's a pretty interesting idea, right? Because you're going to have so many cool ideas. How do you sort them to the top?
Well, and the funny thing is, every time someone is interviewed here or does a talk, Parthu, who's in the back, we created a model with him because he's our he started out as our AI intern that I met him through Ann Atkinson. And basically we summarize all of this stuff, but I don't know how many people even take that and then go even deeper with it with their own goals, their own ambitions, but it's literally available right there for any, yeah.
Well, another secret I think is what I've been able to do for myself is to simplify very complicated things. So you can take something that's really, really complicated, but really simplify it.
Yep.
And I'll give you an idea. When I had Century 21, I think I've told some of you this before, but maybe at the risk of it, I'll tell you again. When I had Century 21, at one of the conferences, I set up a Johnny Carson kind of an atmosphere.
They may not know, just a second. He bought the master franchise for Canada.
Oh.
Does everybody know that? And he built it. Everybody know all that? And he built it like 8,000 agents, 400 offices all across Canada.
But I took about 8 salespeople, the top salespeople in the whole deal. I have 8,000, and put them on the stage. And I was like Johnny Carson, and I had them on the couch, and I was interviewing them about, well, what made you successful? Why were you? Because one guy was like from Toronto downtown, another guy from Newfoundland, and like in some little town, he's one of the top salesmen in the company, living in a place that he must have sold every person in his town twice. Because
to hit the numbers, huh?
Yeah, to get the numbers, how do you get so successful? So I was doing this, interviewing these guys and ladies, and I came up with there was 3 basic things in their character that they agreed that you had to have to be successful. The 3 things out of all the things that you think you need to be. If I went around this room right now, we'd have 50 things that you need to be successful. But there's 47 down here. There's 3 up here. And those 3 things are attitude, motivation of the individual. Individual's attitude, his motivation, and his commitment. Those are the 3 things.
Is that in here?
I don't know.
It should be.
It should be. But those are the 3. So when if Joe says to me, Peter, I want you to meet this guy. I think you really, really will like this guy, and you should hire him to do something for you. I'd say, thank you, Joe. Do you have his resume? Joe said, no, I don't. But you can meet him in lunchtime. So okay. The first thing I would be looking. That's the only thing I look for. And I'd be asking questions like to tell about his attitude. What, like, does he hate his other job? And what is he like as a person, his attitude? And are they motivated? What have they done? Like, oh yeah, when you were back in school, what was your favorite? What was your sport? Oh, I was a runner. Did you win anything? Yeah, I used to. Is it there?
Yep. Item number 10, page 38. When you guys get that, he spelled it out right here.
Good.
And again, it's a gift from us for everybody, right?
Yeah. But if people got a good attitude, if they're motivatable, can you motivate them? And are they capable of making a commitment? That those people you're talking to. And those are.
I didn't know that's where that came from.
Well, you know what? Actually, that's a good. Harvey Mackay, I don't know, when I first met Harvey, this was probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And he had just written a book on hiring people. And I said, well, what are 2 things that you think about when hire someone, or if you're for your existing team, like because it was a conversation about hiring people and keeping people. And so he's like, the first is if you have anyone working for you, if they were working for a competitor, would you be worried? And I was like, that's interesting.
That's good.
Right? And then, of course, the other one, which everyone's heard, if knowing what you know now, would you hire them again? And if you can't say yes to both of those questions, then, do you really want to keep them? Do you really want to hire them? Right? So if you meet someone that you want to bring on the team, yeah.
And I think one other big word I want to use, I was thinking about Tony, because I want you to get the benefit of this guy while he's here, because he's a treasure. He really is a treasure. You got to dig it out of him sometimes. He's a treasure. Gosh, I lost my thought, Tony, with what we're going to do. One word that Tony brings up in me is urgency. He gets it done. Like when you go to the results center, you come out of there with a business plan, a full business plan of where you want to go. So you don't wait, and there's no going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. He's very, very oriented of time. And I have a natural urgency. Things got to get done. I drive a lot of people crazy.
I have to say this, like if you actually think about the naming of it, the Results Center, when you were taking me through this and you were walking me, and then I went and watched some videos of it, I was like, it's fucking great packaging, right?
You know how I did it? I sent it out to my friends, and I said, I need to name my compound. And a guy in Ross Lytle from Canada named it for me.
Yeah, Results Center. But I'll tell you, so you're explaining you're in the Results Center. If I'm going to go to the Results Center, I don't want to be in the lazy center or the get nothing done center. I want to get a fucking result in
I want
the
to be a
Results
dumb center.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's get to this then, because what I want for everyone here is there are a lot of very strategic, results-oriented individuals, obviously. But with everything else, you have your high leverage activities, which I think is great, and you have a methodology of not only producing results, but not wasting time on nonsense, with a lot of stuff applied to your personal life. So it's not just business. What I would like to do is say, like, okay, how does an already successful in some area entrepreneur become a better version of themselves? How do they not? Those are the things I want to go into.
Let me unpack all that in about 90 seconds, Joe. Most people, when I go around the world and I ask this question, can't answer this question. Of the people here, I'm going to say about 3 people are going to answer the question. So if you wouldn't mind, raise your hand honestly if you can do it, just for fun. Without calculating, can you tell me how many hours are in a week? How many? There's 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 people. So most people go through life and they don't even know how many hours in a week.
168.
So this is like some of the top people in the world sitting right here. So this is everybody. I mean, I coach the president of Walmart, Sam's, Ford, Shell, Texaco, the billion-dollar companies around the world. They fly to the Results Center, okay? And so what I say is if you take the 168, and Science Today shows you to sleep how many hours a day? 8. So Science Today says 8. So 8 times 7 is 56. So if you take 168, Joe, minus 56 for sleep, ideal peak performance, and then how many of you believe you should brush your teeth, put your clothes on every day? Everybody agree? So I call that maintenance. So I just ran it off for 12. Just trying to be a little funny here for a minute. So you take 168 minus 56 minus 12 for maintenance, you have 100 hours. And Joe, I believe that we all have about 50 hours that we invest in our personal life and about 50 hours in our professional life. And if we love what we do and we really have tied our values all together, you have a lot of overlap. So a lot of us have a lot of overlap. That's my personal belief. So I say you should be really clear on your high leverage activities in both your personal life and your professional life to maximize your time. That's the number one thing I think you've gotten from me, right? And we'll talk about Molo in a minute. So of all the books I've written, I've developed 300 training courses, Joe, all around the world. And as you know, 100-something books. And the number one thing that anybody's gotten from anything out of the Results Center anywhere is high leverage activities. Agreed? And so I have 5 things, and here's the story I share. I'm going to burn 1 more minute. So let's say Keith calls me up and says, Keith, Tony, can I have lunch with you? And I go, huh, should I say yes or no to Keith? And I'm like going, not sure yet. Keith thinks I should say yes. But what a lot of people do is they don't do this. They don't go, is having lunch with Keith a high leverage activity? So I would simply say, very nicely, not mechanically, but nicely, hey, Keith, what are you thinking? This is my intentionality. My intentionality today, by the way, was to bring value for the hour that we're here. So I go, Keith, what's up? He goes, well, you know Joe. And I go, you're talking about Joe Polish? Yeah. I said, well, I've met him and we've become kind of pretty connected pretty fast. I want to meet Joe. And I'd like to have lunch with you and talk about you connecting me to Joe. And I go, well, since Joe and I are friends, why don't I just email connect you? And Keith goes, I didn't have time to have lunch with him anyway. I just want to meet Joe. That's great. So I gave Keith what he wanted, but I didn't say yes to his request because it wasn't a high leverage activity. So if you're so clear on your high leverage activities, you will say no more strategically, especially if you have the intentionality to help someone get what they want. Now let's play this out a little further. So for mine, I have 5. Like, you know your values inside and out. I have 5 on the personal side, 5 on the professional side. And in the book, you're going to see that. That's one of the main things you're going to get out of the book I give you if you want, is attracting strong qualified business, delivering great value. That's my top 2. I should be sharp. I own part of a lot of different companies, so I should sharpen with clarity for all my people. That's number 3. Number 4, I should gain wisdom. If I'm going to put myself out there with a moniker of the results guy, I better be pretty on top of it. And then the last one's I have a big Rolodex. So I have thousands of people in my Rolodex, my contact database, and I need to be nourishing them, or all they are is a database. Would you agree? So I'm constantly asking myself on the business side, if someone asks me to do something, do I do it or not? And I so loved what Dan said earlier in a distinction, I'd like to tie together, and I'll get back to you for a second, is in my book, Results Faster, I talk about how do you really leverage time. So first off, you got to understand the 168, then you know the HLAs, and then here's my secret sauce. You guys ready for it? How many want my secret sauce? This is for free. Here we go. Is all of us have a life team, but most of us don't realize it or nourish it. So when I'm hanging around Peter and I'm on a yacht, you've seen it, and all of a sudden he wants something done, he makes a phone call, the captain gets it done, and all of a sudden it happens, and he moves on about his space, his life, right? Because Peter has a lot of life team members that do stuff for you. Do we all have a lot of people that do stuff for us? They got our house cleaner, we got our person that mows our yard, we got our person that does our nails, people that cut our hair, we have our attorneys, we have our CPAs. All of us have those people, right? How many of you are really strategic and really love on those people to the level you could? Most people don't. Like I have like 90 people on my life team. And so what that means from a time perspective, when something comes to my life, if it's not an HLA, I farm it out. Because I got these 90 trusted people and I just do a text. I take a picture, fix this, put this screen up here, buy that, move this over here. I don't put gas in my car. I don't put oil in my car. I don't do anything that I don't want to do like that because I got these beautiful people that I love on, I think, I appreciate that are part of my life. All of us have those people, right? Yeah. Like look at all these cool team members you have around here. Like just fast, like your team member over here is
Eunice.
Yeah. Eunice. She's like just on it, right? Here's the address. Boom, 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 boom. So my takeaway here, long answer to your 2-minute setup on the time, is are we really taking our life team members to the highest level? Peter does it. Most of you probably do some of it. How many does a pretty good job of it? How many should go to the whole next level, right? So there you have it. There's my takeaway.
That's great.
You know, the only button end I put on what Tony said there is you've got to really get after this. And like Evan, from this day on, is every single thing you do, can you delegate it? That's that's the question.
If you don't love it, delegate it.
Yeah.
Well, what are the biggest distractions that kill the ability to delegate it or the focus? Because there is perfectionism is an
issue.
Yeah, big time. And so there's a lot of people that pursue excellence, are very smart, but they just have a hard time transferring that to someone.
Well, I got a rule that I call the rule of 87.
It's in the book.
Yep.
And I think it's in the book. The rule of 87. The rule of 87 means.
Sit here.
I got this from washing my car with my daughter. I had this '56 T-Bird, and so it was it was in the movie American Graffiti. So I bought this car, and I just loved the car for about 15, 20 years. And I was washing it, and I had my daughter help me wash it. She's about 9 years old. So we're washing outside with a hose, and I said to her, "So, honey, how are we doing? You know?" She said, "Yeah, we're done, Dad. We're done." And I said, "Is the car clean?" She said, "Oh, yeah." So how clean is it? It's as clean as you can get it? Yeah, it's clean, clean, clean. So I went behind the wheel, behind the wheel here, and put out this big pile of grease. And I said, honey, it's not clean. The white wheels are clean. And so it was probably 92% clean. So then that happened. And then a few more years later, I'm thinking, what level do I want to take this to that I can accept not being 100%? Well, most of the time, it could be 87.
Right.
I hit 87. So if it's 87% okay, then just you perfectionists out there, it's okay.
And don't wig out on the 87%.
Because what you wind up doing to get that extra 13%, you spend 50% of your good time.
By the way, did you come up with this last year when you were 87 years old, or was this?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, it was done before.
Okay.
It's in the book. It's number 49 in our book.
This year I'm 87.
By the way, this is 100 of he and I's best ideas on one page. So we put about 50 his best ideas, about 50 my best ideas. So this is really
this book is really a phenomenal.
It's cool.
book. Yeah, it's a great.
Because this is guys unbelievable. You get to know Peter, and it's like I just couldn't wait to write this book with him.
So the biggest thing is being happy with it, because we are all perfectionists. You want it 100% clean. Now that I know the wheels are dirty back there, it bothers me. So we got to get them cleaned afterwards myself. But the rule of 87 is a good one to get because you don't.
Anybody deal with perfectionism?
Oh yeah.
So go back to Joe's question about delegation, Joe. I think one thing that causes people the delegation issue is, they can't do it as good as me. And that's probably true for a lot of cases, but sometimes they can. Yeah. Here's the thing you got to ask yourself is that the best use of your time? And then what I say also too, if you, Michael Gerber, anybody a fan of Gerber and the E-Myth?
I mean,
oh my gosh, the technician and the manager.
And
Michael's a little weird as a person, but the book is great. And I know Michael. I've known Michael for years. Yeah.
These people, and also like you all sit out there, I want to just try and help you change the way you live today. What can you do next week to change? Well, this delegation that you're doing, you're Peter, how do you find these people to delegate to? How do you get people to do what you want to do? So many years ago in Edmonton, in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a guy called Nelson Scalbania. Anybody hands up ever heard that name? Ever heard it? Okay, he was kind of like a Donald Trump real estate guy in Canada. He was a larger than life guy, and I was a partner of his in a deal, in a venture, and so I come to his office. His girl, his secretary Eileen, was usually sitting right at the front desk there. So I come over, hi Eileen, and I go. But 2 weeks later I come in, and Eileen's not there. I said, where's she? Well, I bought the Indianapolis Racers. Is it a hockey team, the Racers? I think it's a hockey team. This guy bought Wayne Gretzky, pardon? Anyway, he bought this hockey team, and Eileen was running the hockey team. He'd sent her to run the hockey team. I said, well, Eileen running the hockey team, she's your secretary. He said, oh no, she's good, she's great. She ran that hockey team for about 2 or 3 years. And I was telling myself, I cannot believe it. And doing the everything. She was the guy. If they needed something, she was the person who delivered it in Indianapolis, wherever they bought the team at. And so I thought, the genius inside us again. I truly know that I could go and do $1 billion deal with any one of you guys here, and a quarter of the way through it, leave it, and you take it home. You have that capacity to bring it home. You just don't know enough yourself to believe it yourself. No, and I kind of got that from Nelson when he started, because I see he would just point, you just keep out of his way because you'd be the next person doing whatever he wanted you to do,
If you rated yourself a 1 to 10 in delegation, how many give themselves a 9 or above? 3?
Yeah.
Dan, why do you do it so well?
I'm lazy.
Dan says he's lazy.
And are we okay with being lazy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Dan, could you do it if you did not have Babs?
Well, I wouldn't have anything if I didn't have that.
You wouldn't want to do it.
So no, and I'm not saying that for
No, the first thing that I mentioned my 3 questions. Is there any way I can get that done by doing nothing? Because sometimes if you leave a problem alone, it goes away and you don't spend time on it. But the big thing is that I'm good at certain things and not good at everything else. And I just know the 2 or 3 things that I'm good at. And if it doesn't fall within that circle, it's somebody else's job.
Love it.
I think I've thought about this a lot too, because I don't consider myself very good at delegating, even though I guess I delegate a lot. I mean, a lot of things get done in my world that I get support and help from other people. Part of it is I don't like managing people that need to be managed. Like I work well with entrepreneurs because I'm very intrinsically motivated. No one has to tell me to do stuff. I just do stuff, and I really try to be thoughtful about how I do it. Part of it, though, is like being in a band. You know, you can be, you know, a rapper, or you can be in the country, or you can be in the hardcore and, you know, industrial music or whatever. You're not. You got to play with the type of people that are playing the music you're trying to play, right? So I think a team is often like a band. You know, how does an Aerosmith stay together for many years with all their addictions and all their trials and all of the, you know, but still, in others, you know, like Oasis, the band Oasis, you know, the brothers that just hated each other, but still, you know, became very huge. But how big could they have been had they been able to get along with each other, right? And so there's, you know, I think about that a lot in teams. There's a certain, Dan and Babs have a great partnership, right? And it just works. Whereas other people, there's that missing element. So there's some structure that needs to get set up in order for things to work.
Yeah, people around you matter, right? Delegation, how many of you have more than 2 assistants? 3? 5? Why do some people limit their assistants thinking to 1 or 2? I know some of you don't. I'm just wondering, some of you probably do, though. I see it a lot. Probably different in this room than most, right?
Some be it money, but others, yeah.
I mean, if you got the money, why would you not want to have people helping you get stuff done you don't want to do?
Yeah.
Like now, the reason why I brought up Gerber's book is because I think there's a distinction in his book that's worth mentioning for 30 seconds. And I'd like to exploit it even more by just saying that if you love being a technician and you want to do something that's not the highest and best use of your whole thing in life, but you love it, do it, is my opinion, if you love it. Like sometimes I go edit books and I'm not the best at editing, but sometimes I like to put my little wordsmithing on things. And I got tons of editors that are like way better than me. But sometimes I like get into the detail of laying out a book cover. And I've got graphic artists out everywhere, and they're way better than me. But sometimes I like to just play with the little cover, you know, because I like it.
Well, you know, you said when I love it, I like it. You know, John, I was thinking about, you know, you sell your business and say that window in between, when you go from here to there, and you're there.
Boy, I was listening to that.
One of the things that I have done when I'm there, like for example, I've loved country music, and I've loved country music all my life, you know. So I said, okay, when I was 50, I said, what am I going to do? My present to myself, I gave myself a few presents when I was 50. My first present was I didn't go to work on Friday after I was 50. I took Friday off. Now, did I really take it off? I really didn't put my suit on, and I stayed away from the office. I still did stuff, but to me, it was like taking time off, you know. But the next thing I did is that I've had country music in my life. I love it all my life. I remember riding my bicycle to school singing the old Hank Williams songs, you know, and stuff like that.
Can you sing one of them for us?
Sure. Ernest Tubb, there stands the glass, fill it up to the brim, till my troubles grow dim. Brother, I'm on my way. That's my talking. That's a glass of whiskey. But so what I thought to myself, well, how can I put back to country music? What could Peter Thomas do? All this learning that I got from country, all this happiness. So I said, you know what? I'm going to join the Country Music Association board. That's what I'm going to do. So I pick up, and this is in Canada, the Canadian Country Music Association. So I pick up the phone Toronto, and there is a Country Music Association. So I find that out, and there's a president. I said, my name is Peter Thomas, Century 21, blah, blah, blah. I said, do you ever look for any business guys to go on your board? Oh my God. Well, I mean, they welcome me with open arms. Well, I spent about 3 years on that country music board, met all these country music stars, wound up buying a company called Savannah Music, had a gal in that music business, a group called the Nylons. You guys should look these up on the internet. And Michelle Wright. The Nylons were a group, 4 guys singing a cappella in Canada. You know them. Oh, yeah. Beautiful, great sound. And then Michelle Wright was a country music star. And I mean, I can't tell you concerts and going to the Country Music Association with getting the right seats in the crowd, you know. Mm-hmm. It was just gloriful 10 years, you know, of association. Well, it was a 20-year association, but a gloriful time of fun and happiness. Mm-hmm. And it all came just by me having some time to do. So what to do with that time would be something, maybe you could go on the board of something that you really have fun with. something, some goal like that. And it was country music, and what was the other thing I did? I went on the board of the Country Music Association. Oh, cars, yeah.
I was gonna say,
I love cars, you know. So I've had cars all my life and playing with cars. So
believe me, I've been to Barrett Jackson with him. He loves cars.
When you go to Barrett Jackson with him, he goes, "Hey, let's go on the stage." And he just like, did he take you on the stage? He just starts like buying stuff right there on stage.
Oh, yeah, he buys. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
But you guys, I'm not that brilliant. I got one little car story. So I get a call from a lawyer. Says, "This is so and so. I have a car for sale. My client was a drug dealer. He's gone to jail for 20 years, and he's given me the car, and I need to sell the car for get my legal bill paid." So it's a 250 short wheelbase Ferrari. So I said, okay. So I said, okay. So I fly over to Miami, look at it, $500,000, $500,000, done. I buy it. I come and I fly back, and I'm at a car show next weekend, and I'm talking to this big Walton, Rob Walton, the Waltons.
Well, their sons. He's the chairman.
Sons. So I said, so excited. I said, I bought this car. What'd you buy? I said, 250 short. Which one? Which one? What do you mean, which one? Well, I didn't realize that they know the number of every one of those cars.
Yeah, you've seen his car collection, right?
Oh, crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, we had dinner. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So, which one again? I said, I thought, look it up. 4557. Oh, you got that one, the one with the bad engine. I go, what? You know the bad engine? Oh yeah, cars. I got you, and I think, oh gosh, $500,000, bad engine. So I know a guy in Chicago, so I pick up the phone and say, look, I bought this car, 457, bad engine, Rob Walton, blah blah blah. I don't want any more. He goes, I'll buy it. You want it? I'll buy it. How much? 600. I said, okay. So I sold it for 600. Now, a couple of weekends later on, I'm at a car show in California. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking to the Ferrari guys. And I said, yeah, the car, number 4567. They said, that one? Wow, that's a fantastic car. That was it blew its engine in a sanctioned Ferrari race. And during the time that Ferrari owned the car, like it wasn't blown out, it was inside that. So that car is really valuable. So just recently I learned that car just sold.
How much?
13 million.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 13.
But you know what's nice about life is playing with life. Like playing in life. Like get your own stories. Do stuff like that. And I look back, join the Country Music Association. Because there's never a right time to be happy.
No, it's one of the reasons I bought the damn ghost town. Because I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because, and I knew there would be a lot of stuff that would come with it, but there was something where I was like, I'm just going to treat it like an art project. I know it's going to be a shit show. I know there's going to be a million freaking things that I don't, it's fun, like, what was it? A month ago, they were grading the area across from the schoolhouse, and they scraped something was under the ground, and then I get a call saying the workers that are out there, there's a coffin out there and there's bones sticking out, and I'm like, and this is late at night. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me, and they're like, what do we do? I'm like, well, we call, So I recently, is Pardis here by chance? No, so I was recently introduced to the sheriff of Yavapai County, and I've become friends with him, and so his name's David, and I'm like, I have his mobile phone. I'm like, what do I do? Do we call the medical examiner? He's like, no, I'll take care of it. I'll call the team, and so then the next day they send out the medical examiner. They send out a couple cops. They have to thank God it's in a coffin, right? Because it's not like someone was just buried there, because I didn't want Indian ruins or something, because then it becomes like a whole nother level. Yeah. And I'm thinking, is this going to be kept quiet? And the sheriff department films a social media video and uploads it to their YouTube channel. And I'm like, okay, this is a whole nother element of owning a ghost town I wasn't kind of prepared for.
It sounds like a book to me.
Yeah, and so it's like from between 55 to 85 years ago, and then we're trying to actually determine who because there's no identification of it and stuff. But so it's but anyway, you buy a ghost town, there's all kinds of things you don't know. But the point is, I just wanted to do it. And it's built, and it has the the term from Dan Sullivan, which is just one of the, I don't understand why more people don't understand this concept. I mean, I talk about it a lot, Dan, strategic byproducts. Whenever you pursue a goal, things happen off to the side that become greater than the goal you were pursuing in the first place. And as a result of buying that ghost town, it led to us then acquiring, first started with 240 acres of gold, silver, and copper mine claims, which is now 4,000. And we took the company public. We're now in the mining exploration thing, and that could be one of the biggest ventures I've ever done. But it never would have happened had I not bought this ghost town. And but the whole point is just do life. People sit around and they wait, and you're like, yeah, everyone has real estate regrets here, right? You have a car regret, which is 13, but it doesn't matter because that wasn't the point. You just wanted the Ferrari, right? And then you're like, oh shit, I heard this from this person. Let me sell it. You sell it, thinking, oh, at least I made $100,000 on that. And you're like, well, but that's the beauty of, you got to have fun because the level of shit that we have to deal with running a business, if you do not interject and fill your life with people that you like, it's really
not smart, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. They're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.